In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars flickered like distant lanterns and planets spun in silent orbits, there existed a kingdom unlike any other. The realm of Zyrathia was not bound by earthly rules or mundane physics. It thrived on energy currents that pulsed through its crystalline cities and shimmered across its twin moons. Here, amidst this dazzling spectacle of light and power, lived Princess Lyria, the last heir to an ancient lineage of alien rulers. Lyria was no ordinary princess. She bore the bloodline of the Zytherians, a race known for their mastery over time and life itself. Her skin glowed faintly with hues of violet and silver, her eyes sparkled like liquid starlight, and her hair flowed as if it were made of woven galaxies. But beauty alone did not define her. She carried within her veins a curse older than the universe itself. It had been passed down from generation to generation, a dark inheritance meant to protect but instead became a burden too heavy to bear. The curse whispered warnings in voices only Lyria could hear, urging her to wield its terrible powers when threatened. To touch another being with the intent to harm would unleash death upon them, a slow, agonizing countdown until their final breath. For centuries, Lyria avoided contact with outsiders, isolating herself behind towering walls of obsidian glass and shimmering force fields. She feared what might happen should someone provoke her wrath. Yet deep inside, loneliness gnawed at her heart. Despite her ethereal appearance and regal demeanor, she yearned for connection, for love. One fateful day, a ship crash-landed near the outskirts of Zyrathia's capital city. Its metal hull scorched and battered, it skidded across the glowing sands before coming to rest against one of the kingdom's monolithic spires. From the wreckage emerged Captain Darius Callan, a human soldier whose armor bore the scars of countless battles fought across galaxies far beyond his own. He stumbled out into the alien landscape, his helmet cracked, revealing a face lined with determination and desperation. Darius had been sent on a mission to retrieve vital intelligence about Zyrathian technology, an assignment deemed critical by Earth's military leaders. However, betrayal among his crew led to sabotage, leaving him stranded and alone on this strange world. As he surveyed his surroundings, awe mingled with fear gripped him. Never had he encountered such raw beauty paired with palpable danger. Unbeknownst to Darius, every step he took toward survival brought him closer to the very person who could end his life. Little did he know that his arrival would set off a chain reaction neither he nor Lyria could have anticipated, one destined to change both their lives forever. As Darius navigated the shimmering terrain of Zyrathia, his senses heightened by adrenaline and caution, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every movement felt deliberate, every shadow seemed alive. The air buzzed faintly, carrying an electric charge that prickled his skin. He adjusted his damaged communicator, hoping for even a sliver of signal, but static greeted him instead. "Great," he muttered under his breath, wiping sweat from his brow. "Just perfect." His boots crunched against the glittering sand as he approached what appeared to be ruins partially buried beneath layers of crystalline formations. Columns spiraled upward like frozen lightning bolts, their surfaces etched with symbols that pulsed faintly with inner light. Darius reached out hesitantly, brushing his fingers against one of the markings. A jolt surged through him, not painful, but startling enough to make him recoil. "What kind of place is this?" he whispered to himself, scanning the horizon once more. That's when he saw her. At first, she blended seamlessly into the environment, her radiant form almost indistinguishable from the glowing landscape. But then she moved, stepping forward with grace that defied gravity itself. Lyria's presence commanded attention, her violet-silver glow casting a soft luminescence around her. Darius froze, unsure whether to reach for his weapon or simply gawk. His instincts screamed danger, yet something about her held him transfixed. "Who are you?" Lyria demanded, her voice melodic yet sharp, cutting through the charged atmosphere like a blade. She stood tall, arms crossed over her chest, her glowing eyes narrowing as they locked onto him. Darius straightened, forcing himself to adopt a posture of calm despite the storm brewing inside him. "Captain Darius Callan," he replied, his tone steady but wary. "Human. And I mean no harm." Lyria tilted her head slightly, studying him with an intensity that made him feel stripped bare. "You lie," she said flatly. "Humans always mean harm. You invaded my skies, crashed into my land, and now trespass here without permission." Darius raised his hands defensively. "Look, I didn't exactly plan this vacation. My ship malfunctioned. I'm just trying to survive." Her expression hardened, and the ground beneath them trembled faintly. "Survive? You think your survival matters here? This is my world, human. One wrong move, and you'll wish you'd never set foot on it." For a moment, silence stretched between them, broken only by the faint hum of energy coursing through the air. Darius swallowed hard, realizing two things simultaneously. This woman, no, this being, was not someone to trifle with, and secondly, there was something undeniably captivating about her. Maybe it was the way her luminous gaze seemed to pierce straight through him, or perhaps it was the mixture of authority and vulnerability in her stance. Whatever it was, it stirred something deep within him. Curiosity, maybe even intrigue. "Well," Darius said finally, lowering his hands but keeping his tone light-hearted, "if you're planning to vaporize me or whatever, can we at least do it after lunch? I haven't eaten in hours." To his surprise, Lyria blinked, taken aback by his audacity. Then, ever so slightly, the corner of her mouth twitched upward. Not quite a smile, but close enough to make Darius wonder if humor might be his best chance at surviving this encounter. "You dare joke while facing death?" she asked, though her voice lacked its earlier edge. "I've faced worse odds," he shot back with a shrug. "Besides, dying hungry sounds like bad karma." Lyria stared at him for a long moment before exhaling sharply. "You're either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. Perhaps both." She stepped closer, her movements fluid and mesmerizing. "Explain yourself, human. Why are you here?" And so began their uneasy exchange, a clash of wills tempered by mutual curiosity. Darius recounted his story, omitting certain classified details but emphasizing his plight as a stranded soldier betrayed by his own kind. Lyria listened intently, her expression unreadable, though her glowing eyes betrayed flashes of emotion, anger, suspicion, and something else he couldn't quite place. When he finished, Lyria crossed her arms again, her lips pressed into a thin line. "Your tale does not absolve you of guilt," she said firmly. "But I sense truth in your words." "Then let me prove it," Darius countered quickly. "Let me help you understand humans better. We're not all monsters." Her laugh was bitter, tinged with sadness. "You don't know what I am capable of, human. Trust is a luxury I cannot afford." Before Darius could respond, a sudden crackle of energy erupted around them. The ground quaked violently, and glowing fissures split open, revealing swirling voids below. Lyria's eyes widened in alarm. "No," she murmured, backing away instinctively. "Not now." "What's happening?" Darius shouted over the growing chaos. "The curse," she snapped, turning her fiery gaze on him. "It reacts to threats. And you are a threat." With those chilling words, she extended her hand toward him, palm glowing ominously. Darius braced himself, expecting pain or worse, but instead, a wave of warmth enveloped him, followed by a strange sensation, like being marked by an invisible brand. When the trembling subsided and the fissures sealed themselves shut, Lyria lowered her arm, breathing heavily. "You have 7 days," she declared, her voice cold and resolute. 7 days to leave this planet, or die." Darius staggered backward, stunned. "Wait, what did you just—" "No further explanation," she interrupted, her form beginning to fade into the shimmering air. "Use your time wisely, human. Or prepare to meet your end." And with that, she vanished, leaving Darius alone amidst the ruins, the weight of her curse settling heavily upon him. Alone in the eerie stillness left behind by Lyria's departure, Darius sank to his knees, gripping the earth as if it might anchor him against the crushing reality of her words. 7 days. The thought echoed relentlessly in his mind, each repetition amplifying the dread tightening his chest. He was no stranger to peril. Countless missions had tested his resolve, pushing him to the brink of despair and beyond. Yet nothing compared to this, a countdown dictated by forces beyond comprehension, governed by a being whose motives remained shrouded in mystery. Determined not to succumb to panic, Darius rose to his feet, brushing off the glowing sand clinging to his gloves. His immediate priority was clear: survival. Without food, water, or shelter, The hostile environment of Zyrathia posed as much a threat as Lyria's ominous curse. Scanning his surroundings, he spotted a cluster of crystalline structures nearby, their translucent walls shimmering softly under the twin moon's light. If luck favored him, these ruins might offer some semblance of refuge. Navigating through the labyrinthine corridors of the ancient edifice proved challenging. The air grew cooler, tinged with an otherworldly scent that reminded him of ozone mixed with something floral. Intricate carvings adorned the walls, depicting scenes of celestial battles and serene landscapes bathed in cosmic hues. Darius paused briefly, tracing his fingers over the engravings, marveling at the artistry and history embedded in every line. Deeper within the structure, he discovered a chamber bathed in a soft, pulsating glow emanating from a central pedestal. Upon it rested a device resembling a holographic projector, dormant yet humming with latent energy. Activating it required little effort. A simple touch triggered a cascade of images and data streams, detailing the technological advancements and cultural heritage of the Zytherians. Fascinated, Darius absorbed the information greedily, piecing together insights about Zyrathia's society and its people. As dawn broke, painting the sky with streaks of lavender and gold, Darius ventured outside, driven by hunger and the need for supplies. The landscape teemed with bizarre flora, some plants exuding sweet, edible nectar while others harbored venomous thorns. With cautious experimentation, he identified safe sources of sustenance, marking them mentally for future reference. Water proved more elusive, trickling sparingly from mineral-rich springs hidden amongst rocky outcrops. Days blurred into nights as Darius adapted to the rhythms of Zyrathian life. Each sunrise brought renewed vigor, fueling his determination to uncover a way to lift the curse or escape the planet entirely. By night, solitude wrapped around him like a cloak, intensifying reflections on his predicament. Memories of home surfaced unbidden, faces of comrades lost, promises made, dreams deferred. Loneliness gnawed at his spirit, sharpening his resolve to connect with Lyria, the enigmatic princess who held his fate in her ethereal hands. Despite the looming deadline, moments of levity punctuated his solitary existence. On one occasion, attempting to scale a particularly treacherous cliff face, Darius slipped, landing awkwardly in a patch of luminescent moss that emitted a high-pitched squeal akin to laughter. Startled, he burst into genuine chuckles, the absurdity of the situation momentarily lifting the oppressive weight of impending doom. Such instances, though fleeting, offered glimpses of hope, reminding him of humanity's resilience and capacity for joy even in adversity. Yet, underlying these experiences simmered a growing conviction that understanding Lyria was key to altering his grim trajectory. Observations gleaned from their initial encounter replayed in his mind, her guarded demeanor masking deeper vulnerabilities, the flicker of amusement sparked by his humor, the conflicted emotions evident in her luminous eyes. These nuances hinted at complexities beneath her regal facade, suggesting possibilities for bridging the chasm separating them. Thus, armed with newfound knowledge and bolstered by introspection, Darius crafted a plan. Rather than flee or confront Lyria directly, he resolved to engage her on terms less adversarial. Drawing upon insights from the holographic archives, he devised gestures of goodwill tailored to resonate with Zytherian customs. Simple acts, offering gifts symbolizing peace, demonstrating respect for sacred sites, sharing stories reflective of human virtues, might foster trust and pave the way for dialogue. Each action carried calculated risks, inviting potential misinterpretation or outright rejection. Yet, buoyed by desperation and a burgeoning belief in shared humanity, Darius embraced the challenge. As he prepared for his next encounter with Lyria, anticipation mingled with apprehension. Whether his efforts would sway her heart or seal his fate remained uncertain. What was clear, however, was that passivity offered no reprieve. Only through boldness and sincerity could he hope to rewrite the narrative scripted by the curse. The day arrived sooner than expected when Lyria reappeared, materializing silently behind Darius as he knelt by a bubbling spring, collecting water in a makeshift container. Startled by her sudden presence, he turned swiftly, nearly spilling the precious liquid. "Princess," he acknowledged, rising to his full height, careful to keep his movements deliberate and non-threatening. Lyria regarded him with a mixture of surprise and suspicion. "I see you've adapted well to our environment," she noted, her voice carrying a hint of begrudging admiration. "Few outsiders have survived this long." "Adaptation is part of survival," Darius replied evenly, setting the container aside. "Though I admit, your hospitality leaves much to be desired." A flicker of amusement danced in her glowing eyes, but she quickly masked it. "Hospitality? You tread dangerous grounds, human, and expect courtesies." "Perhaps not courtesies," he conceded, stepping closer cautiously. "But understanding, maybe. Your curse binds us together, whether we like it or not. Might we use this time to learn from each other rather than remain adversaries?" Lyria hesitated, clearly torn between skepticism and curiosity. "And how do you propose we achieve such learning?" she asked, crossing her arms defensively. Darius gestured toward the surrounding landscape. "By exploring what connects us. Look around, princess. This world is breathtakingly beautiful, filled with wonders unlike anything I've seen. Surely, sharing these experiences could bridge some gaps between us." She studied him intently, weighing his sincerity. Finally, she nodded curtly. "Very well. Show me what you find so fascinating." Over the next few hours, Darius led Lyria through various parts of the terrain, pointing out peculiarities of the flora and fauna, explaining their functions based on his observations. He showed her where certain plants secreted healing sap, how specific crystals resonated with musical notes when struck gently, and the intricate dance of light patterns created by bioluminescent insects during dusk. Initially reserved, Lyria gradually warmed to the exploration, asking questions and offering insights into the ecosystem's deeper workings. Their interactions shifted subtly, from tense exchanges to genuine conversations. At one point, Darius tripped over a root, sending both of them into fits of laughter as he flailed comically to regain balance. As twilight descended, casting long shadows and bathing everything in a golden glow, they found themselves atop a hill overlooking a vast plain dotted with luminescent flowers. Sitting side by side, they shared stories, Darius recounting tales of his adventures across galaxies, and Lyria speaking softly about her duties as a princess, her isolation, and her fears. "You carry burdens heavier than most," Darius observed gently, watching her profile illuminated by the setting sun. "Being alone isn't easy." "No," she admitted quietly, turning to meet his gaze. "But neither is trusting again after betrayal." He nodded understandingly. "Trust takes time, especially after hurt. But isn't it worth trying? Even if just a little." Lyria looked away, contemplative. The silence stretched comfortably between them, broken only by the gentle rustling of leaves and distant calls of nocturnal creatures emerging for the night. Later, as stars began dotting the sky, Darius pulled out a small device salvaged from his crashed ship, a music player rigged to work with local frequencies. Playing a soft melody, he extended a hand toward Lyria. "Dance with me." She eyed him skeptically but accepted his hand, allowing him to guide her in slow, tentative steps. Laughter bubbled up occasionally as they stumbled, finding rhythm together amidst the unfamiliar tune. For those fleeting moments, the weight of curses and deadlines faded, replaced by a connection neither had anticipated. Back at the ruins, nestled within the safety of the ancient structure, Lyria sat cross-legged opposite Darius, her usual regality softened by the evening's camaraderie. "Tell me more about your world," she requested, genuinely intrigued. "What makes humans so resilient?" Darius leaned back against a pillar, smiling wistfully. "We adapt, fight, love deeply, and hold on to hope even when it seems futile. It's messy, chaotic, but beautiful in its imperfection." Lyria absorbed his words, a thoughtful expression playing across her features. "Perhaps," she mused aloud, "there is wisdom in embracing imperfections." Their conversation flowed effortlessly into the night, weaving threads of mutual understanding and empathy. Little did they realize, these shared moments were weaving something stronger, an undeniable bond that neither curse nor time could easily sever. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the crystalline windows of the ancient ruin, Darius woke with a start, his mind racing with thoughts of Lyria. The previous night's revelations had planted seeds of doubt about the inevitability of his fate. Could the curse truly be irreversible, or was there a loophole, a hidden path to redemption? Determined to find answers, he delved deeper into the holographic archives, scouring every fragment of Zytherian lore for clues. Hours turned into days as Darius immersed himself in research, fueled by a mix of desperation and newfound hope. He discovered cryptic references to an artifact known as the Heart of Zyrathia, rumored to possess the power to alter destinies. Legend spoke of its creation during the genesis of the Zytherian civilization, forged from the essence of stars and imbued with the ability to transcend temporal boundaries. If the tales held any truth, this relic might hold the key to breaking Lyria's curse. Armed with this knowledge, Darius sought out Lyria once more, finding her meditating in a secluded garden within the palace grounds. Her serene posture contrasted sharply with the turmoil brewing inside him. Approaching cautiously, he cleared his throat to announce his presence. Lyria opened her eyes, her expression neutral yet attentive. "I need to talk to you," Darius began, sitting down beside her. "About the curse." Lyria stiffened slightly but nodded, inviting him to continue. Taking a deep breath, Darius recounted his findings, explaining the legend of the Heart of Zyrathia and its purported powers. "If we can locate this artifact," he concluded earnestly, "there might be a chance to undo the curse." Lyria listened intently, her glowing eyes reflecting a storm of emotions. "The Heart of Zyrathia," she murmured, her voice tinged with nostalgia and skepticism. "Stories told to children to instill hope. Do you truly believe such myths?" "I have to," Darius replied firmly. "Hope is all I have left. And if there's even a sliver of truth in those legends, don't we owe it to ourselves to try?" A heavy silence fell between them, broken only by the gentle rustling of leaves overhead. Lyria rose slowly, pacing back and forth as she pondered his words. Finally, she stopped, facing him with a resolute expression. "Very well," she declared. "We shall seek the Heart of Zyrathia. But know this, human, if this quest proves fruitless, your remaining days are forfeit." Determined and united by a common goal, Darius and Lyria embarked on their perilous journey. Guided by ancient maps and cryptic riddles unearthed from the archives, they traversed diverse terrains, from scorching deserts shimmering with heat mirages to dense forests where bioluminescent trees cast eerie shadows. Each step brought new challenges, testing their resolve and strengthening their bond. One particularly harrowing encounter occurred in the Valley of Echoes, a treacherous expanse where sound waves amplified dangerously, disorienting travelers. As they navigated the valley, a sudden gust of wind triggered a cascade of sonic booms, sending shockwaves rippling through the air. Instinctively, Darius grabbed Lyria's hand, pulling her close to shield her from the worst of the impact. The intimacy of the moment lingered long after the echoes faded, reinforcing the unspoken connection growing between them. Further along their route, they faced mechanical guardians, sentient constructs designed to protect sacred sites. These towering automatons, forged from iridescent alloys, moved with precision and purpose, their weapons primed to eliminate intruders. Utilizing quick thinking and teamwork, Darius and Lyria managed to disable several units, using environmental hazards to their advantage. In one instance, Darius lured a guardian into a trap of collapsing stalactites, while Lyria manipulated energy fields to short-circuit another. Their synchronized efforts showcased a synergy born of trust and mutual reliance. Amidst these trials, moments of levity provided much-needed relief. During a brief respite in a tranquil oasis, Darius attempted to teach Lyria basic human card games, resulting in hilariously competitive matches. Her initial confusion gave way to strategic cunning, leading to uproarious laughter as she triumphantly declared victory in a round of poker. Such shared joys fortified their spirits, reminding them of the lighter side of their arduous quest. As they drew nearer to the supposed location of the Heart of Zyrathia, anticipation mingled with apprehension. Rumor suggested the artifact lay hidden within the caverns of eternity, a labyrinthine network rumored to warp time and space. Venturing into such a place required not only physical endurance but mental fortitude. Together, Darius and Lyria prepared meticulously, equipping themselves with tools and knowledge gleaned from their journey thus far. Entering the caverns, they were immediately enveloped by an ethereal glow, the walls pulsating with radiant energy. Time seemed distorted, minutes stretching into hours or compressing into seconds. Navigating the maze proved daunting, with illusions and traps designed to confuse and deter intruders. Yet, guided by intuition and unwavering determination, they pressed onward, drawing strength from each other's presence. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached a grand chamber bathed in a kaleidoscope of colors. At its center floated the Heart of Zyrathia, a radiant orb pulsating with cosmic energy, suspended mid-air by invisible forces. Its beauty was overwhelming, radiating warmth and tranquility that washed over them like a soothing balm. Approaching the artifact, Lyria extended her hand tentatively, her fingers trembling with anticipation. As she touched the heart, a surge of energy coursed through her, illuminating her entire being with a brilliant light. Visions flooded her mind, memories of past generations, glimpses of possible futures, and the intricate web of destinies intertwined by the curse. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she grappled with the enormity of revelations unfolding before her. Darius watched anxiously, ready to intervene should anything go awry. When the light finally dimmed, Lyria stood transformed, her countenance reflecting a profound shift. Turning to Darius, she spoke with a voice imbued with newfound clarity and resolve. "The curse," she whispered, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "It is not what we thought." Her revelation hung in the air, pregnant with implications yet to be fully understood. Together, they realized that unraveling the truth would demand sacrifices and choices neither had anticipated. But standing united, surrounded by the pulsating glow of the heart of Zyrathia, they embraced the uncertainty ahead, fortified by the bond forged through trials and triumphs. The revelation that spilled forth from Lyria's lips shook the very foundation of their understanding. "The curse," she explained, her voice trembling with a mix of awe and sorrow, "is not merely a punishment or defense mechanism. It is a safeguard, a fail-safe designed to preserve balance within the universe." She paused, gathering her thoughts as Darius listened intently, his heart pounding with a mixture of hope and dread. "The curse ties my lineage to the fabric of reality itself," Lyria continued, her glowing eyes locked onto his. "Each generation carries the burden of maintaining equilibrium. Should we falter, the consequences ripple outward, threatening the stability of existence." Her words painted a picture of immense responsibility, one that transcended personal desires and ambitions. "But why me?" Darius asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Why was I cursed specifically?" Lyria hesitated, her expression pained. "Because you represent disruption, a variable introduced into a carefully calibrated system. Your presence here, unintentional as it may be, threatens the delicate harmony my ancestors swore to uphold." Darius absorbed this information, grappling with the weight of her explanation. "So, undoing the curse isn't just about freeing myself," he concluded somberly. "It's about risking the entire universe." "Yes," Lyria confirmed, her voice heavy with resignation. "And therein lies our dilemma. To break the curse means to gamble with forces beyond our control. Yet, doing nothing ensures your demise and perpetuates a cycle of isolation and suffering for my people." They stood in silence, the enormity of their predicament pressing down upon them. Outside the cavern, the world seemed to hold its breath, awaiting their decision. Finally, Darius broke the quiet. "There has to be another way," he insisted, determination flashing in his eyes. "We've come too far to give up now." Inspired by his resolve, Lyria nodded. "Perhaps there is a way to recalibrate the curse rather than destroy it. To transform it into something different." Together, they turned their attention back to the heart of Zyrathia, its pulsating light casting shifting patterns across the chamber walls. They theorized that the artifact might allow them to rewrite the parameters of the curse, channeling its power differently without dismantling the safeguards entirely. It was a risky proposition, fraught with uncertainty, but it offered a glimmer of hope. Pooling their combined knowledge, Lyria's intimate understanding of her heritage and Darius's ingenuity, they devised a plan. Using the heart as a conduit, they would attempt to merge their essences temporarily, intertwining their fates in a bid to reshape the curse's influence. The process required absolute synchronization, demanding both physical proximity and emotional alignment. As they prepared for the ritual, tension crackled in the air. Lyria instructed Darius on the necessary steps, guiding him through visualizations meant to align their energies. "Focus on our shared moments," she advised, her voice steady despite the anxiety simmering beneath. "The laughter, the struggles, the trust we've built. Let those memories anchor us." Taking a deep breath, Darius stepped closer, reaching out to clasp Lyria's hands. Their connection surged instantly, a tangible current flowing between them. Closing their eyes, they delved into the depths of the heart's energy, letting it envelop them completely. Time blurred, sensations intensified, and vision swirled, a kaleidoscope of past, present, and potential futures. Within this shared consciousness, they confronted the essence of the curse directly. It manifested as a swirling vortex of darkness and light, resisting their attempts to reshape it. Doubt crept in, threatening to derail their efforts. But then, memories surfaced. Moments of vulnerability, courage, and connection. These fragments of their journey acted as catalysts, weakening the curse's grip and creating fissures in its rigid structure. Sensing an opportunity, Lyria and Darius pushed harder, pouring every ounce of their willpower into the task. Slowly, painstakingly, the vortex began to shift, its chaotic patterns smoothing into something more harmonious. A warm glow spread outward, infusing them with a sense of unity and purpose. Suddenly, a jolt of resistance surged, throwing them apart physically and mentally. Gasping, they stumbled back, clutching their heads as the chamber reverberated with a low rumble. The heart of Zyrathia dimmed slightly, its light flickering erratically. "We're losing it!" Lyria exclaimed, panic tinging her voice. "No, we're not," Darius countered, grabbing her hand again. "We finish this, together." With renewed determination, they redoubled their efforts, drawing strength from each other and the bond they'd forged. The heart responded, its glow stabilizing as the vortex completed its transformation. Where once stood a malevolent force now pulsed a vibrant, balanced energy, a testament to their success. Breathing heavily, they collapsed to the ground, exhausted but triumphant. Around them, the chamber shimmered with renewed vitality, the air buzzing with a sense of restored equilibrium. Though the outcome remained uncertain, one thing was clear. They had altered the course of destiny, rewriting the narrative of the curse in ways neither had imagined possible. As they lay there, recovering from the ordeal, Darius turned to Lyria with a weary smile. "Guess we make quite the team, huh?" She returned his smile, her eyes sparkling with a mix of relief and affection. "Indeed, human. Indeed." In the days that followed, the changes wrought by their actions became undeniable. The oppressive weight of the curse lifted, not just from Darius but from Lyria as well. No longer bound by fear and isolation, she felt a newfound freedom, one tempered by hope rather than dread. For Darius, the specter of death no longer loomed over him. Instead, he carried the promise of life, and something more. Their bond, forged in adversity and strengthened by trust, blossomed into something neither had dared to dream of: love. Lyria, who had spent centuries guarding her heart against vulnerability, found herself opening up to emotions she thought long buried. And Darius, whose journey began with survival, discovered a purpose far greater: building a future alongside someone extraordinary. Together, they returned to Zyrathia's capital, where Lyria stood before her people not as a cursed princess but as a leader unshackled by ancient burdens. With Darius at her side, she unveiled plans for unity between humans and Zytherians, envisioning a world where differences were celebrated rather than feared. Her people, inspired by her courage and transformed by her vision, embraced this new era with optimism. As the twin moons rose over the crystalline city, casting its spires in shimmering light, Darius and Lyria shared a quiet moment on a balcony overlooking the kingdom. "You know," Darius said with a grin, "when I crashed here, I wasn't exactly planning to stay." Lyria raised an eyebrow, her lips curving into a soft smile. "And now?" He took her hand, his gaze warm and unwavering. "Now? I can't imagine being anywhere else." Her laughter echoed like music, filling the night with joy. In that moment, surrounded by stars and possibility, they knew their story was only beginning. One written not by curses or fate, but by choice, courage, and love. And so, under the watchful glow of Zyrathia's skies, two souls from different worlds found their happily ever after, a testament to the power of connection, understanding, and the belief that even the darkest curses could be rewritten with hope.